I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. and today I'm going to give you 5 quick reviews of these, well, 5 games. I almost said 5 first impressions. Some of these are first impressions, other of these I've played a bunch of times, some more than others, but I'll go ahead and give you my quick thoughts on them. And also, hi Cal. Cal was actually on the chair next to me. I had a chair pulled up next to me because he is there, but then he decided to hop up once I was giving him attention, so he gets his little attention right now. Anyways, before we dive into this channel is sponsored by Allplay. If you go to allplay.com, you can find a variety of games from both them as well as their partner publishers, including Pirates of the High Teas, you can find at allplay.com. This and other games, go ahead and check them out, link down below. But with that said, with these 5 games, we'll be talking about The Last Spell, the board game, Pirates of the High Teas, The Peak Team Rangers, Reef Project, and Kutna Hora, City of Silver. And I'll go ahead and give you my thoughts of these in order from my least to highest, how much I like them or dislike them. So going lowest to highest over here, so saving the best for last, except for Cal. He's the, I don't want to be that pet person who's like, go check out my cat on camera, and he's the best, and he's a cutesy little smoochins. He is a cutesy little smoochins, but I try to let them be in videos without overly spending too much time in them, because some of y'all are cat people, and some of y'all don't want pets in your board game videos, and I respect that. With that said, let's talk about other things you don't want in your board game videos, because that's The Last Spell. That was harsh. That was too harsh. But honestly, this game has a lot of issues. So The Last Spell, the board game from Tabular Games, I was kind of excited to dive into this one. And the first problem is the rulebook. The rulebook is one of the worst rulebooks I've read in recent years. It has lots of iconography that's not great, lots of images that are just hard to read. The general rule structure of it, it's split into like 2 different rulebooks, and it's not the easiest to follow everything. It is not a great rulebook. But what I also don't know is I don't know how much of that is enabled by the game itself also being kind of tedious, because even once you get, I've only played this once for context. I played this one time. I'm not giving it a second time. I'm not giving it a second play. The game itself is very tedious as far as the actual gameplay mechanics. You're basically playing not really tower defense, but you kind of are building up your little city and all that as hordes kind of enclose in on you and the board shrinks around you. It's based on the video game, I assume. I haven't played the video game, but it is a video game. But ultimately, the game itself is, again, it's tedious, it's slow, you don't feel particularly, you're like restricted on resources, you don't have enough mana, the shooting mechanics are weird, there's so many different small little complaints, but ultimately, you never really feel particularly cool and powerful, and you struggle through a bad rulebook to get to that point. So that's kind of like not my favorite time. Like, I debated giving it a second play, but I also know that I've seen other people's opinions of this one, and it's not like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't think there's a redemption arc there. I think for me, this is a 2 out of 5. Gameplay itself, probably a 2.5 out of 5, but I'm definitely didn't get a half a point for a rulebook that is a slog to get through. So a 2 out of 5. I cannot recommend this game. I think there's some interesting ideas in there, but like there's so many better games that have better rulebooks, easier to play, less of a slog, and more fun while doing so. Check out Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising. That's like, if you want a tower defense game that actually has fun vibes based on a video game IP, that's a great one. Try that out from Lucky Duck Games. Skip on The Last Spell, unfortunately. I'm usually not like super harsh in my video, my reviews. I think most games are pretty good, and so more often than not, the games that are just like meh are like, hey, you just weren't that amazing. But like most games are going to be at least a 3. Most games are going to be a 3.5 out of 5, by the way. And then above a 3.5 is really like at a 4 and higher, that's where the recommendations start. But it's not that the 3.5s are bad, it's just that there's so many 3.5s. But The Last Spell, this is one of those games that I'm annoyed. I guess here's how I put it. I play a lot of games, and I like playing a lot of games. I like learning new games. I like trying stuff. It's currently, when I film this, I have no clue when this video goes up. These particular videos go up like whenever. Sometimes they go up like 4 months later. But it's April 24th, 2026 when I'm filming this. That's what, 160-ish? No, that's not right. 120-ish days in the year so far. I have already learned over 160 new games this year. I like learning new games. I like playing new games, but most of the time, I don't feel frustrated at the time I spent doing so. At worst, I feel like, okay, I could have played a better game instead. But it's not a complaint against the good game. I like experiencing things. It is rare that I'm like, you know what, the time I spent on that, I want it back. And it's not even like this isn't the worst thing I've ever done. But the time I spent slogging through the rulebook to get to a mediocre game, I want it back. Anyways, from there, let's go next. What is next? Ooh, this is I know which ones are the last 2. The next one here, I'm going to go with Kutna Hora. Kutna Hora over here is my second least favorite over here. Although we're not going to be nearly as harsh on this one. Now, Kutna Hora is another one that I only played one time. Didn't feel the particular need to play it again. I almost went to top cam, realized my top cam's not on. You're building a city. The city of gold, silver. I almost said city of gold. The city of silver. Kutna Hora is a market, how to put this? How do you even explain this game? you're kind of building a city together. You're also kind of excavating the mines together. You're working with a shared market economy. They call it like the something calculator, an analog calculator. I don't know. They have these market tracks that are meant to be like, ooh, look, dynamic markets that aren't that interesting. Like, I don't really feel a strong sense of, ooh, that's super cool. Like, if I play a market in a board game, I kind of want to have an insight into how the market works. And I don't really have that insight in this game. Maybe if I played it a bunch more, I would. But as it is, it kind of feels like, okay, let's do some stuff. The market goes up, the market goes down. Don't have a clear association as to what my actions do on the market. So now we're just playing this weird game of like, ooh, look, the market just went down, the market went up. It feels like the decisions you make are based on the ebb and flow of a changing market, which works if you are playing a video game. If you're playing something like, I don't know, let's just give Age of Empires, I don't know, whatever, Anno 1800. If you're playing your own personal video game and the markets are rising and falling, that feels interesting and fun because dynamic resources. If you're playing a board game with other players and the entire 2-hour game night strategy that you have developed is going to feel a little at whim to the not randomness, but the fluctuations of the market that are meant to be more simulated but not as trackable, it doesn't feel quite as fun in that sense. And the problem is the rest of the game isn't particularly inspiring. Now, it's not bad. I'm going to be giving this one a 3 out of 5. I don't regret the time I spent on this one, but I also don't want to play it again because like it's a full game night game. And that's, like, listen, if I'm going to play a 2.5 hour long game, I want to enjoy it more than a 3 out of 5. Sometimes I do it anyway because reviews. But other times I'm like, you know what? This goes in a video about games that I didn't feel the need to play again. That's not the whole video, to be clear. That's not. Like, some of these games are actually pretty good. But Kutna Hora, City of Silver, it's not bad. Also, by the way, the thing that boggles my mind is like an 8.4 or something. It's highly rated on BGG. I don't know if it's an 8.4. That sounds too high. It's highly rated on BGG. People like this game. Everyone I played it with was like, that wasn't the worst thing we've done. It also wasn't particularly amazing. I think it's fine. It's just fine. You build a city. You take actions. You do stuff. The automatic calculators move. Nothing I did in this game felt like that was clever. Not a single thing. There wasn't a single moment I had where I'm like, I feel clever. I like feeling clever when I play games, or entertained. Either of those things. Like, party games are more entertainment, other games are more about feeling clever. I want to feel like I did this and did that, and then I either killed 14 zombies, or alternatively, I just placed that worker and I got that card and I comboed this and I got 3 points, but I did it in a really cool way that's hard to do. I want to feel clever in some capacity in games, and Kutna Hora, City of Silver, I just felt like I did the things until the game ended. And then I was like, oh, I think I won, by the way. I'm pretty sure I won. I only say that because sometimes, like, losing a game can be associated with like, oh, you didn't get the game. So like, because you didn't get the game, it wasn't fun for you. I mean, maybe I didn't get the game, but I got it the most from the people at the table. But then again, we all didn't love it, so maybe none of us got the game. That is a possibility. Anyways, a 3 out of 5. Moving on from there, we have Pirates of the High Seas. Pirates of the High Seas is the reason I got this one higher. I'm also giving this a 3 out of 5. I also was not like super wowed by it, but I do think it is shorter, easier to table. This one I did play multiple times because it's shorter and easier to table, and it's fun and simple. It's not like a whole game night game. It's like 45 minutes, something like that. It's a what's the right term? There's a term. It is contract fulfillment. That's the term. That's the official board game term for this, is contract fulfillment. You are trying to fulfill contracts. You take cards, which are like the tea cards, and then you have to get other cards because you're trying to like assemble these combinations of cards. You're serving tea with certain recipes and all that, and you're trying to mix and match it all together to basically fulfill the demands of these captains. Also, it's worker placement. You're doing a worker placement spot where you're like, oh, I want to get this turn. I want to get a tea. I want to get recipes. I want to get these things. You're trying to figure out what you can do before you go to actually place your worker and serve tea to the captain. It plays out over, I can't remember, I think it's like 9 rounds, whatever it is, how many rounds it is. But you're basically just trying to collect cards and serve tea, get a variety of bonuses. It's a totally fine game. It's cute. It's charming. The color palette's very nice. It's very easy to play. It's very easy to table. I think that this is the kind of game that if this was your first game in board games, or even like amongst your first games, I think I'd be much more charmed by this. I think you might be much more charmed by this. I think that the tricky part is for the game mechanics, judging the game by the mechanics. I think that I've seen this done a lot in games, and I don't think this brought anything particularly new to the table for me. So there's nothing bad about this. I think I would have, like, again, if this was my first 20 games, or even more than that, my first 50 games, I might have been like, wow, board games do so much. But I think that as much as I do try to review games and rate games based on how that game stands on its own, it's also hard to not totally disconnect it from the wealth of knowledge I have about playing different games. Pirates of the High Seas is charming. I think you would enjoy it. But I think if you are looking for where this falls in the stack of all those games out there, to me it's a 3 out of 5. It was cute and charming and didn't do anything special, but it did do worker placement, contract fulfillment, and it hit those notes totally acceptable. So 3 out of 5, Pirates of the High Teas. Then from there we get into the two that I really enjoyed a lot more, although even these come with some small caveats. We have Reef Project over here. Reef Project is a solid game from Board and Dice that the game looks beautiful. The game, this is again another one I've played a few times. The game looks beautiful. Like, I debated giving its own, honestly, both these I debated giving their own reviews, but I think I'm so far behind where these games have come out that I was like, you know what, I'll just do a roundup. But Reef Project, there's a lot going on as far as the actual mechanics of the game, of building out your own little tableau and like upgrading your like ship and all that, and then trying to place it around the board in a way that chains into the kind of area control element of these different zones. You kind of have these different zones in the board that you're trying to enclose. There's a very clever puzzle going on here. It's a very clever puzzle. It's one of those weird games that I think it's a solid game. I think it's a solid game. Like, if you like, it's worth trying this one. If you like Euro games, it's worth trying this. You might like it more than I did. I did like it. I do like it. I did like it. I do like it. Pick your, past tense, present tense. The only issue this game has is that there's so many great games out there that I'm just not as likely to pull this one off the shelf for game night. I debated giving this a 4 to 5. I think I'm going to come in at a 3.5 out of 5. And I wrestle. Like, I think it's almost deserving of that 4. There's a fun Euro strategy game going on here that does reward you for clever play and has a lot of moving aspects and tableau building. And I like tableau building. I like getting more powerful as I do stuff. Again, I mentioned, like, what was it, The Last Spell or whatnot? No, Kutna Hora, like, didn't have any of those moments of, like, ooh, I feel clever. Reef Project has a bunch of moments of feeling clever. It has a bunch of fun things happening in the game as far as how you build out your ship and power yourself up while trying to set yourself up for those area control elements in the larger seaboard. Lots of clever, fun moments, and also great graphic design. It's a good game, a very good game. Still going to come in at a 3.5 to 5. That's Reef Project. And lastly, we have the Peak Team Rangers. This is an interesting one. This one, I played a ton when I first got it. I came back from this to Gen Con, liked it a lot, talked about it in a few videos. I played through this like 6 or 7 times. 6, 7, sorry, I have to. I played through this 6 or 7 times, going through every single one of the arcs. It's like a 5-step arc just to play the game. So mission 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you've unlocked all the mechanics of the game, and then played through a few more times for good measure. The biggest challenge I have with this game is that as much as I've enjoyed it, and I'm going to give this one a 4 to 5. It's a very enjoyable cooperative game, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of fun tension. There's like communication, but not communication. But there's a lot of card passing. It is very challenging. I think that my biggest complaints about it are probably that it's a cooperative game of basically passing cards as you try to each achieve your goals. Lots of fun moments. The decisions of where to place flags and goals and all that as you try to work together with teammates. The decision of which cards to hold on to, which ones to pass. Lots of fun there. The biggest issues I have with it, number one, is I do think that the arc of the game is best at around like level 3, and I kept expecting it to arc upwards, but like 4 and 5 don't really add a ton new, like a weather mechanic and all that. It's like I kind of thought there was more happening, and 3 was probably where it capped out for me as far as enjoyment, and 4 or 5 was like, oh, here's a new little module to add in, but it didn't really feel like the same level as what the first few levels introduced. And then secondly is I don't really think it's great with 2. I think this really is a 3 or 4 player game, or 5 for that matter. There's a lot. It's better at higher player counts, and I just don't. I think it's less likely at the table at higher player counts because I usually have a larger roster of other games I don't get to as much. Like if I'm playing at a 4 player game, there's so many games I don't table as much. Versus 2 and 3 players, I get so much done at 2 and 3 players. It is pretty decent at 3. 3 is the area where it has the most likely chance of being tabled. But the issue I have is that the people in my game group who are the most common players of my 3 player games were fine with it and liked it enough, but they didn't like it as much as I did. And so it has gone into that weird state where it hasn't been played in a few months by now. Again, I got a Gen Con and played it a lot right after that, but it hasn't been played in a bit because I'm not willing to really fight for it to get tabled, and my game group is kind of more mixed in it. They're willing to play it, but not super obsessed with playing it, and there's other games we'd rather play at that point, so it falls into that weird space. I'm still going to give it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoy the cooperative play, and I do recommend it. It's just been harder to table because of that player count and my own personal group dynamics. Anyways, those are your 5 little mini quick reviews. We have The Last Spell. Please save your time. I check out other opinions too, because I hate being harsh on games. Like, usually if I'm harsh on a game, I will also tell you, but other people seem to like it. But in this one, I don't think other people seem to like it. I don't like it. I think the rulebook was not good. The gameplay is not good, and that's an opinion that's not just my own, so save your money. Try it at a board game convention. Or play something else instead. Kutna Hora. Other people seem to like it. I think it's fine. I just there was no wow moments. No wow moments at all, and it's a long enough game. There should be some wow moments. Pirates of the High Seas, a totally fine, accessible intro gateway game. Just like, you know, even with the expansion, added some few new pirates with like the captains. I like that. I added that my second play. I like these little captains with variable goals. But overall, it's felt a little too straightforward for me. So another 3 out of 5. So 2, 3, and then we have Reef Project, a 3.5 to 5, a very solid game that I think you might enjoy, but check it out if you like Euros. And then Peak Team, a slightly whimsical, fun, cooperative game that is simple, accessible, and engaging, a 4 out of 5. Anyways, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed these videos. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.